Hey folks, good to see you. Michael McFarland here, shooting the McFarland's Corner, June 8th, 2019. Man, Skeeter event is here this week. Wow, let me just tell you something. 2,200 boats. That's 40 boats short of a record. Guys, that's 2 per boat. That's like 1,200 boats. There's big fish tournaments all across the nation. Man, the ones back home where I came from, 300 boats. And we're saying, wow, it's a lot of boats. 1,200 boats, but get this. 27 overs. 27 overs caught in a day and a half fishing. When I say Goat Lake, that's why I say Goat Lake. I've been to Baccarat 12 times. I've been to El Salto 4 times. Huites twice. Las Mochas twice. Obregon, which is known as Oviachi, 100 times. Yeah, they're probably more consistent day in, day out, better fisheries. But there's no place in the United States for sure that's going to put that many overs. That's over 24 inches. That's not to say how many fish in the 6, 7, 8 pound range that were 22 inches were caught by 2,200 fishermen. Phenomenal amount of fish caught in a really cool place. So again, that's a little intro. Welcome to McFarland's Corner. I got a really cool show for you tonight, and I have a special guest coming. We're going to start like we normally do with the journal. Let me give you just a little bit about McFarland's fishing. So we were prepping all last week, every day, for the Skeeter event. And I can tell you very humbly that every day last week, with the exception of my half-day trip on Friday, we caught the fish we needed. We caught big fish. We caught lots of slot fish, but we had overs. One day we had 2 overs all in one day. So the lake is fishing great. McFarland's Corner, the Lake Fork Guide, we are on the fish. As you saw through the daily rundown, we're throwing the jig, we're throwing the finesse Carolina rig, we're throwing the worm, beginning to throw the worm. So I'm going to kind of keep the journal about short as that, because you've had the rundown. And tonight I'm going to bring in my special guest early because there's a little bit more of my journal and his journal that we're going to share with you. A very special thing happened this week. So before we close the journal and get into the topic, which by the way, tonight the topic's big worms, let's bring in my special guest. This is a really, really good friend of mine. Absolute Lake Fork stud. He knows where the big, big, big fish live. And you know what? Every day last week, if I thought I had a really, really good day, he kind of had a little bit better. He had a little bit bigger fish. So let's bring him in. Mr. Eddie Garrett, come on in here, bud.
Hello, Mike.
This is Lake Fork Guide,
Hey,
Mr. Eddie Garrett.
good to see you, bud.
You know, I met this guy about 6 years ago, and he's a humble guy. He's a great friend. He's an honest guy. And honestly, I'm not blowing you any smoke. He really knows where these big, big fish live. And so before we kind of talk about what you were doing last week for your part of what I call the journal is our fishing report.
Okay.
I want to tell him what happened, so I think it was Friday. It was Thursday.
It was Thursday.
It's Thursday. I'm running. We had an awesome day, my best day last week. And we had a couple of overs. And I come around this bend, and I see Eddie. He's waving me down. There's a guy over the boat hanging in the water, and I thought, something wrong? Did he have a breakdown? What's going on? And so I pull up, and, I'm feeling pretty confident about the fish we caught.
Yeah.
And then I realized that you even had a better day.
Yeah.
You had three fish in the double-digit range.
I did.
Mr. Roy Arganes, right?
Right.
He had one you brought to the marina.
Right. We had 2 more prior to that.
Which is phenomenal.
We seen another over early in the morning on top of brush pile. Roy's brother, Tony, had her on. She got her out of the brush. She come up, she jumped up on top of it, and I guess we was throwing a drop shot. I guess she nicked the line in the brush pile. We got broke off on the jump.
Broke off.
We move out again. For noon, Roy hangs another big one on a point. And she's just manhandling on that drop shot, just spooling it. And I'm telling Roy, tighten your drag, Roy, tighten your drag. And she was just too much fish. And I got her hung up. Well, I go over, try to get her out, and I could feel her tugging down there. I just couldn't get her out. She locked up again. And I said, Roy, I'm sorry, man, but she's locked up. So I got to break him off. So we go back to another spot a little later in the afternoon before I seen you. And Roy hangs another big.
3 biggies in one day.
So then we get her. Well, Roy's in the cash bash back.
Yeah.
And a 972's leading it. And we get her in the boat, and I said, Roy, she's 10 pounds. He said, you got to be kidding me. He said, I've never caught a fish like this in my life. I said, she's 10 pounds. I said, let's measure. We put her on the board. She measured 26 inches. And she fell off my board.
Wow.
And I said, okay. I said, let's weigh her. Well, unfortunately, the battery was down in my scales. So I said, well, we got to take her to, I said, I think she's 10. I'm pretty good at guessing. I think she's 10.
Yeah.
So I made the phone call to Lake Fork Marine and told them to get the bag ready. We'd bring one in. We take her in, put her up there. She's 9'10".
Oh,
So
9 pounds, 10 ounces.
9 pounds, 10 ounces. So I miss her a little bit, but what threw me off was she was 26 inches long.
Correct.
She just didn't
It's
have
real
that.
hard.
It's
in that
real
range.
hard when you get up in that class, guys.
But let me back you up just a step, because what I got from you was pretty impressive. What I heard is you actually find these with your sonar. You're not just fishing spots. I mean, you're using that sonar and you're finding those fish.
I don't stop unless I see them.
Unless you saw them.
We don't fish blind.
Just like deer hunting. Just like you go out there, you don't, a good scouting deer hunting, not sitting in a tree stand or blind. When you're actually stalking, they'll get out there with that spotting scope and find those deer, and then you go get them. So that changes the elements. That changes the odds.
Sure
we aren't wasting time.
Sure it does.
You're wetting the line where the fish are.
We see so many people out there on the lake, guiding like you and I do all the time. We see them out there and they're just fishing.
Right.
And,
because they've caught them here before.
They might have caught them here before, or they might have seen somebody catch one before, or something like that.
Yeah.
But we do not stop unless I see them.
Yeah. So guess this is another man that completely understands sonar, and that is the name of this game. So back to Roy Arganez. I come around the corner there, and of course, when any one of my peers waves me in, or really anybody, the good outdoors thing is to go find out what's going on. But this is Eddie Garrett, so there's no doubt I'm going to go in there and help. And they're not broke down. And lo and behold, they've got this big fish, and she won't go back down.
She won't go back down. She done fine when we come back from the marina with her. I go out there to drop her. She won't go down.
So, Eddie asked me to kind of do, I got a needle, and normally I would carry needles. I don't catch fish out of deep water on fork that often that you have to fizz, so I didn't. And I come over to the boat, and, they said, well, maybe you mess with her for a little while. So I tinkered with her for 10 minutes, and what I saw was a very healthy fish. Her fins were going crazy. When I put my finger in her mouth, she'd chomp on it. So I knew she's healthy. I knew she's good.
Yeah, she was good.
Every time I'd kind of point her head down, she'd try. She'd get about 2 feet down, and then she'd come back up 2 feet down. So I know she's trying to decompress.
Right.
And here's where it got pretty cool.
Yeah. And then so Mike's got a customer. We can't get her to go down. I said, Mike, we need a needle. And I had one. I couldn't find it. Mike said he had one. He couldn't find it. So I said, we got to get a needle. So Mike's customer says, hey, he says, I'll just jump in the water and take her down.
Well, he even asked me. He asked me first. He said, well, do you think that'd work? And I said,
yeah,
light bulbs came in my head. And I thought,
sure.
Yeah, it'll help decompress her.
That's right.
So we can just get her 6-8 feet down.
I'm like, you're not real serious about this, are you? He's like, yeah, oh, yeah. And he just pulls his shirt off, and he's like, jumps in the lake.
Yeah, and I stopped him. I'm like, there's trees here,
Yeah,
and the last thing I want you to do is jump over and have an enema. My God.
Yeah.
And so, I'm concerned all of a sudden with kind of my client.
We both are.
And my client says, no, man, I'm fine. I want to go swimming anyways.
Yep.
And I'll let you finish it.
He takes her down. He's gone for a while, and we're like, okay, hope he's okay. I mean, I don't know. I've never seen nobody do this.
And when he went down, I watched him. See, he tried the first time. He went about 4 feet. And the second time, all I could see was a foot of his foot. So he went down upside down, and he went down where he disappeared, and all I saw was the heel of his foot. And that's when I kind of went, oh boy. Oh boy.
It was a scary moment, really was. And he stayed down a little, for a little while. And I'm like, God, I'm thinking, I hope he comes back up. All of a sudden, here he comes. He's up, and he has no fish. And guys, he took her down. She got down to the pressure. She burped, and she took, and everything's good.
I bet you if we had a camera underwater.
Well, I wish we'd had no video.
When she burped, I bet you she went,
woo!
I'm out of here, man. I'm out. Thank God.
I wish that, you video so much. I'm like, well, why didn't we have this one?
Yeah. I did.
Great story.
We did get a few photos and stuff.
Yeah, we did, but great story.
Roy Arganez, congratulations. Beautiful fish. Hey, Chad, what a wonderful thing you did for the outdoors and the fish. And I hope that someday the outdoors world, I do believe it comes around, goes around. You're supposed to always help anyone in the outdoors. Never ever leave someone stranded. Never even leave a fish stranded. So you got some kudos coming back. Now, with that, let's go ahead and kind of lead them into the topic of the week. And this we're going to get a little more elaborate. You love worm fishing this time of year.
Yes, sir.
I'm in the jig, and I talk about that I get in a worm when it gets a little hotter. But man, you're already all over that worm. So
Yes, sir.
what are you doing? Give them a little brief description of what
I'm
you're doing.
throwing a drop shot. And I'm known to throw the drop shot out, and not just out in
Deep water, right?
But I'm a deep water drop shotter. I am.
Now, when you do that, do you cast it? Do you fish it vertical?
I cast it.
You cast it.
We throw it just like a Texas rig worm.
Yeah.
I don't throw a light drop shot. I throw what I call a heavy rig.
Yep.
It's real time rods.
That's what
Famous
yeah.
6'9" drop shot rod, which
Yep.
I'll match up with any rod around.
Absolutely, the same. So we're both real time
Yes.
rod sponsors. But regardless, by the way, guys, that is once again the product of the week, the real time rods. I'll let him tell you about the drop shot rod that he uses.
Yeah, it's a 6'9". It's a Bushido 6'9". They probably sell more of that rod than anyone over. So many customers, I can't even tell you guys, go over and buy this rod after they fish with me. That's how much people like it. It will handle a big fish. Roy found that out.
Yep.
Roy's already went and bought one.
Yep.
He found that out. He couldn't believe it. A lot of guys just can't believe how that rod can handle a big fish. And I've got a bunch of them.
So listen to folks, listen to what's being said here, okay? He's directly targeting big fish.
I'm targeting them.
That means he's finding big fish with his sonar, and yet he's confident enough to break out that particular drop shot rod specifically for the big bite. He's not just fishing with the drop shot rod, he's specifically targeting the big fish.
That's right.
That's like deer hunting, and you've got your 30-06. You go rabbit hunting, you got your 22. So even though that is a light drop shot rod, it can handle this.
We're throwing pretty heavy line on it. Even though it's light, I want the sensitivity, but this rod, I'm telling you, it's incredible. We did a stress test on it when we first got it, tried to break it in the rod shop over. We couldn't break it. I knew we had something.
Yeah, yeah.
I've had guys bring these $500 G Limises out there and fish with them, and I put that in their hand. They're like, we can't believe it. It's a $150 rod.
Yeah.
We can't believe it.
Yeah.
The sensitivity.
Yeah.
I'm throwing 20-pound braid on it. I'm throwing a 7-foot, 15-pound leader. A lot of these local tournament guys that drop shot, they're going to throw 10 and 10 or 10 and 8.
Yeah, yeah.
We're not going to do that because I don't want my clients broke off.
Right.
We're not looking for them 2-pound fish.
Yep, yep. So I
This
see what
lake's
you've
not-
done is the
this-
rod can handle it, so you
The
can
rod
put
can
the
handle
up on it.
and
Yeah.
I'm just upping the game on the line.
Which
And
is
I wanna-
very
I
brilliant.
want a spinning reel that has super drag on it. And there's a lot of good spinning reels out there, guys, that I mean, $50, $60, $70. There's a lot of them out there. But I like a little more upper end reel.
Yep.
That's got heavy drag.
Better drag system.
Better drag.
Yeah, and that's what you really lose. Most people don't know that. But when you skimp on the price in reels,
It does.
it's usually the drag
It's the
system
drag.
that you're really not.
A lot of good reels out there, inexpensive spinning reels. A
Yeah.
lot of them.
Yeah.
But they don't have that super drag.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That's
And
really important.
What
to
I'm
this.
doing is I'm tying on a 20-pound braid, I'm tying an Alberto line to line knot. I show this knot to a lot of people. I've never broke it.
Nope.
I've used a lot of knots.
The Slim Beauty or the Alberto are the two best to use for that.
You're right.
Yeah.
And I'm going to take that and tie a 7-foot leader on. I don't want them fish seeing my braid.
Yep, yep.
I want that long leader. I don't throw finesse worms. I don't own any of them.
Yep.
I throw big trick worms.
Aha. Magnums.
I throw the trick worm to a magnum I like the V&M pork pin.
Yep.
I love the V&M pork pin. It's a 6-inch worm, but it's deadly. Do not think a big fish won't bite that.
Absolutely, I agree with you. I've caught a 12-pounder.
And I'm going to use a 2-aught owner rigging hook. Rigging hook meaning Texas rig. It's got the worm bin in it, where we can Texas rig because we're always in this timber.
Yeah.
We can't nose hook anything out
Right,
here.
right, right.
So that's what I'm going to put on. I'm going to throw a 1/4 ounce cylinder weight, not a ball weight, a cylinder weight clip on to where, and I'm going to run the leader winter, summer. I don't change. I'm about 14 inches on the leader.
About 14 inches.
Okay.
Now, do you just drag it like a Texas rig, or do you
like
ever?
the Texas rig, and sometimes as we're getting a little warmer out there, we got some water now trying to climb up in the mid 80s.
Yeah.
We're going to shake it a little bit.
Just shake it. Yeah.
Before it gets to that, I'm strictly drag.
Okay.
We're strictly drag. Keep your line tight. Slow. It's
Yeah.
all about slow.
Yeah.
These big fish want to look at something.
That's right. And I think on fork they're so conditioned
They are.
that the baits that are moving fast, they know that ain't right.
They know it's not. They know
know
it's not real.
right. You know, I had a client yesterday. that was actually reeling the jig.
Yeah.
And I told him I wanted to show him that one full revolution moves 2.5 feet of line. And if you're a reeler, you're reeling any plastic in, you're fishing supersonic speed. And to pull 1 inch at a time and pick up your slack is completely different than to just reel that bait.
If I see one of my customers, which we get a lot of novices, as you know, if I see one back there with that drop shot and I see him turn that handle, I say, we got to go slow.
Yes.
Well, I am going slow. No. If I see you cranking that handle, we're going too fast.
We're going too fast.
We're just going to take it, keep the line tight. But this rod's so good. The sensitivity is so good on it. Even if we got some wind, we know we can't keep it. The customer don't think it's tight. We got a little swag because the braid, swings in the wind a little bit. But
it's enough.
That rod's good enough, sensible enough to pick up that tick when you get it.
Yep.
So just try to keep it tight as you can, slow.
Yep.
Tighten it up, slow.
Inch at a time.
Use your rod. Inch at a time.
A good measure for me.
We'll shake it a little bit now as this water's getting warmer. We'll shake it a little bit. We're just shake. We're trying to keep the weights on the bottom.
Yeah.
We're just shaking it a little bit. They want a little bit more, just like a 10-inch worm.
Yeah.
We want to shake it a little bit once these water.
Not a big shake. No, just real finesse.
Just finesse shake. We just want to move the worm, just to finesse, in finesse mode.
To get that tail just enough.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm doing. I'm also throwing a big worm like you are.
Yeah.
I'm not throwing the football jig. Mike's fishing some shell beds and stuff,
You fish a little bit more wood, don't you?
I fish a little more wood.
Yeah.
I'm more. I do fish shell beds more in the spring in the shad pond. That's over now, and I've slid out a little. I've slid out more right now in the timber.
And I think you might be fishing just a little bit deeper than I am. I'm tending to hit most of my shell beds between 18 and 22 right now. My fish are more of a come from the trees, come to the shell bed like a deer feeder, as we talked.
Right.
So I think you're getting them more in their home. You're more where they live, and they're certainly willing to eat sometimes.
This past week really picked up on, and I knew, and on my Facebook, I even posted that before this come up, the skeeter tournament come up, I said, they're going to catch them.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew that because, as you know, the last 3 or 4 days before the weekend, my big fish started biting.
They're really showing up too.
They're showing up where they should be.
And you know what was really cool too, that I'm pretty confident now, folks, I did mention to you that I had a great Thursday. I said Thursday was so incredible, we could have had half of that. I'd still call it the goat leg. And then Friday morning I zeroed, but I heard Friday was tough. So I made a speculation to you, and I told you that, this time of year, it's not hot enough. If they ate as well as they did yesterday, and mind you, all the fish don't eat in one day, but we had a volume of fish ate on Thursday. No wonder they weren't biting on Friday, but it set the stage. And I told you this before, it set the stage for Saturday. So my presumption was Saturday's going to be off the chain, and that's exactly what happened. They turned around and ate. So right now you can count them eating about every other day.
Yesterday morning in the skeeter tournament, I went down there early because we don't go out there on these big tournaments. But I went down and looked the way in on the first hour, and I'd left, and 7 overs come in on the second hour.
7 hours. I mean, that's just unbelievable.
A 2.38 under got knocked out of the chair.
When in past years a 1.86 catches a check.
Not this one.
So great lake, great fishery, but also really cool to kind of be as blessed as we are to be on the water every day and see that and make those predictions. I really saw that coming. I knew Saturday was going to be good. I think today was probably a little slower. They're eating every other day.
Well, you put 2,200 people out there on a full day. That next day is going to be a little slower.
No matter what.
No matter what.
No matter what. Yeah.
But they just fished a half a day today. But I'm telling you, 27 odors in a day and a half is incredible.
That is incredible.
It's incredible.
It's unreal. It just doesn't happen.
I can remember. It is the goat lake.
I can remember a Bill Luke bass days on Lake Pleasant. And one year, I think we had 3 days, and we had 8 big fish with only 1 or 2 of them going over 10 pounds. And we were blown away with that. Oh my gosh, we had 8 of them in 3 days from Lake Pleasant. We just had 27 of them in one day.
Yep. And
these are much bigger than what we were taking out of Pleasant. Really unique. So let's do the product of the week again is the real-time rods. It's not only just a rod maker, it's a great service, real service if you need it. If you need your guides fixed on a rod that you got, it doesn't have to be a real-time rod for them to do some rod service repair, etc. They're there for you for advice. You can go in and design your own rod. You can spend some time with Louie. You can spend some time with Eddie or myself and talk about what you may want for your situations, and or you may dislike what we've already broken down. I know you did for the same reason as me. I designed my rods that I'm running in essence to handle these big fish. We just get into them so much. We get into them when we don't even expect it. And so you've got to have the right equipment. You don't want to be caught, fishing with something that can't handle a 10-pounder.
Little things are so important out there on this lake. And I tell people, little things, guys.
Yeah.
From your rod, having the correct rod, to your knot, just little things.
To even the hook set, the proper hook set.
The proper hook set.
Yeah.
You can't make mistakes with these big fish in this lake.
That's right. It's like a big buck. You make one small error and he's gone.
Some people just, that some guys just take things for granted.
Yeah.
But you don't take it for granted here. When you come here, make sure everything's right, guys. Everything.
Yeah.
Because getting bit on the big fish out here is one thing. Getting her boat is another thing.
Absolutely. I think a lot of people get the bites, and a majority of them don't get them
because people won't set the hook.
Yeah.
And I tell them on that drop shot, set the hook.
Well, and there's a measure there, guys, because I had a client set the hook so hard 2 weeks ago that he did snap a rod because it was a tree. He set the hook on a big piece of wood and laid that body weight into it, and that rod definitely wasn't going to handle that. But that's a stationary object. There's a little bit of difference, and it was a big bull, a big man.
Yeah. I've had that happen too.
So, real-time rods. Thank you, Louis, for what you do for us. For me, when I go to the big worms, and I'm just starting to break out a drop shot rig, and I want to show you what I'm doing. If I was to drop shot in the wood, guys, I would do just what Eddie's doing. I would take Eddie's advice. I do have those drop shot rods, and occasionally I get to that point. But what I want to show you is what I do in the shell beds with a drop shot. It's really unique. The first thing is I want to teach you something. When you tie your drop shot hook on, a lot of times it'll be upside down, be all screwy with that Palomar knot. If you'll take the tag end, okay, and you'll run it right back through the front eye, which I may need to get my glasses to do this. I think I got it. What'll happen is you'll end up seeing that knot. I missed it. Let me get my glasses here, folks. I want you to see this.
Well, here's another point that I tell people: when you tie your use a Palomar, and once like Mike's fixing to show you, use a Palomar. And what I tell people to make sure they get it right is take your hook and use the point up to your face.
Yes.
Look at that point. This is always going to be correct. And then take that line and send it back through your eye.
Yeah.
But if you'll do that, you'll just think, okay, up to my face.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah. And a lot of times,
this is what's going to make
what we used to do on the West Coast is if you tie it perfect, and it's still a 50-50. If you tie it perfect, sometimes it'll already be upright, but it's not going to have, see the little action when I pull on this? It's got just a little bit of action in the hook. So when we take this and we actually run the tag back through the front eyelet, which is the same thing that he's doing, the front of the hook, you're going to see an amazing difference in how that hook stands up now. And now when I pop it, look at the movement in that hook. So a lot of times you want to run that back like that. You check it all the time.
You want to do it every time.
Yeah, and that makes that bait stand out and really have the life. See, when we talk about shaking it, see how that hook shakes? And what I'll do is I'll pop it back out so that you can see the difference and lack of action.
So now
it's dead.
It's dead like a Texas. It's like a Texas rig.
Dead. Dead bait. When you pull and pop on it and shake on it, it does nothing. We put this back around like this. Pop the knot through, and you can see the incredible lifelike action. That is really important in a drop shot. So now what I actually do, because I'm not fishing the woods, is I've got a special made, where'd I put it? Should be right here. Where'd I put you? I don't know what I'm doing. I'll do them right here. You can see I got a big old bag of them. Arizona Leadworks has made me a 1/2 ounce round drop shot weight. And I only use this in the shell beds. But the secret I want to tell you, besides putting that knot through, is this. I run only about 4 inches of leader, okay? And I'll tell you, I'm going to show you why here in a second. So there's only 4 inches of leader on that. The reason is I'm going to put a 10-inch power worm on this. I'm mostly throwing the football jig, the stand-up shaky head football jig, and dragging uphill. So I do the same thing with this, okay? And what it does is it gives me that perfect little bit off the bottom, but when I stop pulling, the bait doesn't have enough to fall over. It just nestles into the bottom. So we get a perfect little swim and a perfect little nestle. I've perfected this in my pond where I can visually see it. If I go 6 or 8 inches, when I stop the drag, the worm can fall to the side. So this short leader like that, it's just perfect, just about the time that that bait is starting to lay down, the tail's hitting the bottom, and it just has a very perfect swimming and subtle lay down. Swimming, subtle lay down. So that's my drop shot rig in the shell beds. It's a 5-aught with a 10-inch power worm and a 1/2 ounce drop shot weight round. Shell bed only. You throw that in the wood, you'll regret it. Right? That's why you use that cylinder in the wood. It helps it really kind of come through it.
That's right.
Now we're talking about big worms. Sometimes I'll get off that 10-inch and I'll get into the 12-inch. It's a 12-inch power worm. And many times, believe it or not, I will take used 10-inch worms, cut the top off of it, and glue it or melt it so I get 4 more inches, and I end up having a 16-inch worm. That's what I caught my biggest fish out of this lake on.
Yeah, don't underestimate these big worms, guys, on this lake in the summertime.
Don't estimate the big worms.
Nope.
The hotter it gets, the better. Now, you're not going to probably drop shot something like this.
No.
I would probably even throw it on a big either Texas rig.
What I'm going to do with that is I'm going to take, now here, a lot of times I'm fishing brush piles that deep.
Yep, yep.
So I'm going to take, if I take this big worm, I'm going to do it 2 ways. If I'm fishing brush piles, I'm going to put a 3/8 tungsten weight on it.
You peg it.
3/8, and I'm going to peg it with a bobber stopper.
You peg it so that we don't get any
I
separation.
don't want separation, okay?
Yep.
3/8, not
Yep.
half, not 3/4. You think, okay, big worm, heavy weight. No, I want 3/8 because when I have these guys throw it out in these brush piles, I want this worm to fall subtle enough where that 3/8 is uptight, and we're dragging it across them limbs slow. Just, you know what I'm saying? Just working
Finessing
slow,
it through.
finessing it
Not pulling it
Not
through.
pulling it, we're just
Finessing it through.
And this thing with that 3/8 weight, it's got enough weight to pull it down, and it's going to crawl. And that's a lot of times we get this reaction back when it crawls off these limbs.
Yep, yep.
You get a heavy weight, we're not
it's
crawling.
Falling
It's
down
falling.
in and wedging.
We want to crawl through that
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
You won't believe the bites we get on this big worm with that 3/8 weight by crawling it around in them limbs.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
And I pretty much do the same thing. Not
And,
quite as many brush piles because I don't think I've.
Okay, if I'm not in a brush pile, now we're fishing some stuff. We're fishing some stuff that's
Like big trees.
extended points, big tree, whatever. I like to take the V&M bottom bugger.
I haven't heard of that.
Okay, it's a swing weight.
Okay.
It's a football swing weight.
Okay, got it.
And this is for a place where I just want to fish it on the bottom.
Got
you know
it.
what I'm saying?
Got it.
And I'll take that thing and that swing hook.
Yeah.
Pivots.
It pivots, so lets the worm really have
And boy,
undulation.
Let's get this big old worm with that tail. It gives it some action.
A lot of undulation.
Oh,
and free.
okay.
It's really free hook.
It's free.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
free, and it's
Yeah.
doing different things down there
Yeah.
because of that swing hook.
Yeah.
Another bait I don't see you having here, but I like the V&M J Mag.
Yeah, I haven't thrown
The
much of the
10-inch
V&M.
J-Mag.
I need to
That's
get
a
into some of the
shaky head
V&M.
worm. That worm out on Texas rig, I throw it on 3/4 ounce football.
A
jig.
big shaky head. See, I'm only
Big
running
shaky
5/8, so you're going to the heavy,
3/4.
heavy. Big contact with the
Big
bottom.
contact with the bottom with that
Yeah.
big J Mag. It's a straight worm, guys. It's not a curly tail.
I haven't used that. I think last year we were throwing
Try it, Mike.
a little bit of the Smash Tech straight tail, and this year I definitely need to get my hands into some of the V&M because it's
Yep.
really good product.
Yep. It is. You guys got to try that.
So what's your prediction then now for this next week to come? We just had great fishing. Do you see it getting even better?
I do.
Yeah, me too.
It may be a little slower. I mean, I'm fishing tomorrow. You too.
Yes, I am. I figure the first couple of
I
days
think
will be.
tomorrow we got some north wind. We got a little rain coming in on us right
Yeah.
now as we speak.
Yeah.
It's going to cool us off a little bit. All the pressure from the weekend, all the engine they've heard running.
Yeah.
It's typically after one of these big tournaments, it's slower the next 2 days.
Yeah, they've been beat up. They've been
They've
sore
been beat
mouthed.
up.
They
They've
don't
been
have
beat
a
up.
memory. They're not going to remember. Oh my
No.
gosh, I remember that red and white skeeter boat.
That's right. But
Or
the-
I
but
they don't
just
even
all
remember the
pressure
word.
out there.
Yeah, yeah.
It's all the boat pressure out there.
So I
So,
still think there's a
we'll
lot
have-
more fish to come to us.
Yes, there's more fish. We've had a late spawn, Mike.
Yeah.
And I had a couple last week and still had bloody tails, man.
Yeah, me
I'm
too.
telling you.
Well, and I seem to, I guys just started getting some
They
of my
just
deep
come off
fish
of it.
2 weeks.
They're still healing.
You're healing, right?
They're
A
healing.
lot of the fish. I finally found some fresh fish last week that seemed like they were up in the secondary, and they were so fresh. I actually feel that they were ones that spawned 8 weeks ago, had already recovered, and now we're schooled up and acting normal.
That's what we're looking for.
Because we were having 4-pounders that we couldn't
I
hardly
got some
turn.
23-foot water out there Wednesday and Thursday that I found them. They were right. They're set up right. There's 40 fish in the pile. They won't bite.
Just got there.
They just got there.
Just got there.
When these fish just get here, they're tired, they're healing up, and they don't bite right when they first get there.
Yep.
They just don't. So don't sit there and you say, okay, oh man, I see. Oh, don't sit there on them fish. If they don't bite, move on.
Move on. But make note that they're
Make
there
note
and
that
come
they're
back the next day, the next
Exactly.
day. And that's just what I was telling you 2
You do
weeks
this
ago.
a lot in the summertime. Come back, come back, come back.
So when we go back a couple of weeks on a Monday, and I told everybody I'm staying the course. The only reason I told you that is I saw my fish come. And I knew that, okay, they're just getting here. Kind of like an old Wyoming deer hunter would tell you, well, April 4th, them deer come over the ridge. And, he knew because he knows his animals. Was he going to be April 4th, April 5th, April 6th? Well, it could have some variation. But same principles.
I got a situation where, this is a good story.
I'll give you water if you like.
I got a situation where I had Arkansas boys, 3 of them, three Arkansas boys. I pull up on a spot in 24 feet. They're there. They're stacking there like cordwood. I mean, look, this is going to be game on. We're throwing Carolina rigs. Okay. I said, guys, I throw a buoy on them. Outside of them, I said, guys, throw right here. Nothing. I let them throw 4 or 5 times. Reel them up. What do you mean reel them up?
You already knew.
I said, we're leaving.
They should be fighting.
Okay, this was last year. I'm just telling you this. This was a true story. I picked my buoy up. We're gone. This was 10 o'clock in the morning. Go fish, look around some more, grab some more. I come back at 11:30.
An hour and a half later.
Throw it in, yeah. Throw it out there again. Throw the buoy out there again. Guys, let's go again. Nothing. Reel them up. They think I'm crazy. We reel them up. We go to lunch. I come back at 1 o'clock. They're still there. They haven't moved. Same scenario. Do it again. Nope. Nothing. They're like, what's this guy doing? Why are we throwing and leaving and coming back? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
They never seen this. 3 o'clock. I come pull back in. I said, one more time, guys. Throw the buoy. They throw it out there. They got triples on.
Yeah.
This has begun.
Yeah.
This is summertime. This is just typical summertime bass. If you can get one to fire off in a school,
yeah,
you're fixing to catch them.
Fix it, catch them. And that's how you can measure.
They caught 28 out of that school.
Yeah.
Couldn't get a bite 3 times prior.
Awesome lesson. Guys, listen to what he's saying there. The fish were there. They weren't ready. Once they got ready, it's the same thing. There's been many times that I pulled up on school and I see 20 fish in there. And my clients will catch one right away and then they don't get another bite. It's time to leave. And
that's right.
The times when it's right, we get 8, 9, 10 bites within 20 minutes. Back to back to back big fish. And when they're turned on, they're turned on.
It's a competition thing for them.
Yep.
You know, so you just got to fire a couple of them off.
Yep.
And a lot of times that group says, "Oh, hey, what? We want some of that."
Well, and I like to kind of do the McFarland thing sometimes and teach you things. Fish are fish. They're not human. They're not like you and I. So if we're in transition and we move to a new location, while we're moving all our stuff, we order a pizza and we're still hungry. When they're moving and transitioning, they aren't thinking food. It's a new location. They may have been in that location before and they're familiar with it, but they haven't been there. So they're going to kind of get into custom. Acclimation is the right word. They're leaving shallow water to deep water. So some acclimation time makes all the difference in the world. But once you found them, they're there for a reason. And that's the whole key. Nobody better on that sonar to find them big fish that I know of, Mr. Eddie Garrett. And, let's just give them a couple more things on big worms. We talk about drop shot, and I drop shot big worms. I shake head big worms. Do you ever Carolina rig a big worm?
Not that often.
Me either. Occasionally I will. I do hear guys do it.
I don't like it.
I don't like it either.
I don't like it.
And you got to pull it so doggone much to make the worm do anything that I get hung up a
I
lot.
just don't like it.
Yeah, you can't shake a big worm on a Carolina rig. You got to pull it.
No, because you're in contact with that weight.
Yep.
You're not in contact with that worm.
Yep.
You're in contact with that weight. That worm's coming behind that weight. You can do all that stuff you want to do, but you're not getting the action out of that worm.
Yeah, without long pulls.
No,
and long pulls in Lake Fork will just get you hung up.
I like a smaller bait. I like a fluke a lot.
Yeah.
I fish a fluke a lot.
The same. And see where the opposite is, I don't drag a fluke. I snap it. Pull on it just a little, snap it. And that I can go through the wood that way. When I have to long sweep to make a worm swim, you're going to regret it on fork. All right, Will.
That's like these shell beds that you fish a lot, and I fish them a lot too. I'm not right now, but prior to, you know, I'm going back 3 weeks ago, I was getting a lot of shell beds. Shallow shell beds. What I'm doing, and I'm throwing Carolina. You're using, you know, I heard you say you're using a light Carolina rig. Okay. I'm not. I'm throwing a 1 ounce.
That's normally what I do.
Okay. I've got a little lighter line. I'm going, you know, I'm not throwing 20. I'm throwing 20-pound main line, fluorocarbon main line. I don't like braid on the Carolina rig. I just don't like it. Guys say, why not? They show up in my boat. They got their rods. Guys, which what we're fishing today. They bring their rods. They got braid. I don't like braid. Here's the reason. In the timber, even though this water is not, it's not a clear lake, so I don't have really anything against the braid as far as the vision, the visual aspect of it. But when we're in the trees, and that's what I do a lot. When we're in the trees, it's the sing. It's the braid sing. It's these fish hear that sing.
They hear that as it's running over wood is what he's talking about. It's making noise.
They hear that stuff.
And it also, if you've noticed, I don't know if in the 6 years that I've been here, this wood's gotten softer, but it really cuts into the wood, and you find you're hung up way more with that. I was using some braid at the beginning with my jigs.
It digs more. It does.
And I just quit.
I don't do it.
I stopped because of the singing, first of all, but that getting hung up in that soft wood, that braid is already rubbing. It's already cut a groove. By the time my jig or whatever gets there, there's no shaking it out of that groove that braid's cut in.
That's right.
I'm with you. I don't think they see it at all.
I'm against it.
I throw braid on rattle traps and frogs only, and that's it. And I throw it on the rattle trap
because drop shot, but I throw a 7-foot leader.
You're throwing that right.
And I don't want them looking at my braid. Top water, yes. Braid.
Yeah.
But something like a Texas rig, no.
Yeah.
I don't want them looking at that braid.
I agree with you completely.
You're gonna throw a jig, that's okay. If you're gonna go around flipping jigs with braid, that's fine. I'm gonna tie me a leader.
Yes.
A short leader.
Absolutely.
Fluorocarbon leader.
Yep. Good point.
Right.
So do you have any tricks or tips or anything you'd like to give them? Any just special thing? Maybe something when they're tying the knot, a trick to tying that Alberto knot. It's not an easy knot to tie.
It's not an easy knot, but then again, it is.
Yep. Once you get it down, it is.
Once you get it down. I like to really show somebody the knot in the boat.
Yeah.
You know, I can tie it and I can say, watch me guys. And I've noticed, and you know, through experience, that they can't remember it.
There's some things to remember in that.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. The Slim
It's
Beauty.
a super knot.
The Slim Beauty on the water is hard to tie.
I let them tie it, and then I say, okay, tie it for me. And they tie it, they'll never forget it.
Yeah. That's a good tip there. I like that.
Yeah.
If you don't just look at it.
Yeah. But you can go on YouTube and look this up.
Look it on YouTube and practice it in your garage until you got it down.
Until you got it down.
Yeah. And that does help. If you just tie it just a few times and think you got it, you're going to get out in the water. You're going to be in some elements. You're going to have some wind. You're going to have something going on, and you're going to find.
But it's really an easy knot to tie once you got it.
Yeah.
And I can tie it pretty quick.
Yeah. And it is a very, very strong knot. It goes through the guides. If you talked about 7 feet, that means that knot's going through them guides, and you won't really feel that.
You do not want to feel that knot going through them guides.
Yeah.
That is the knot.
So by the way, too, if you've tied it wrong, if you're feeling it through the guides, you've tied it wrong.
Right.
Yeah. So man, that exciting week here at Lake Fork.
I'm
really
looking forward to getting back on the water, man.
I am too. My prediction is
once I get on, I love June. I love July. I love November.
I get to about mid-July, Eddie, and once those breathless days start coming in, I'm
getting older, and it's kind of hard.
That's part of it. I don't want to grind so much anymore in that sauna. You can still catch them.
It still hurts. It hurts me more than it used to.
It does, and usually, what I found on fork is once you get to that breathless days, you're fishing your spot, and you're catching them in the morning, and then all of a sudden it quits. The best secret I can give you that'll kind of keep you going is just turn a 180 and start throwing out, because a lot of times that's all they've done is sucked out a little bit more. That's just being in the tops of trees, but that's still to come. We're 82, 84 degrees in the morning. I don't see that till that water's 89, 90 in the morning. Right. So we've got about a month, I would guess, of some really good.
As we get into July, mid-July into August, we're going to start seeing these fish suspend.
Yeah, the tops of the trees.
We're going to start seeing them suspend. That's when people really struggle.
Yeah, they do. It's hard.
It's hard to catch.
It's a complicated deal. You have to have that bait. Remember we talked about the 3/8 ounce lightweight worm. You got to have that light worm coming in, doodling through the tree, not pulling and getting hung up. And I see that too. I get so hung up in those trees.
You know, it's like also in that situation, one guy here I'm gonna speak of comes to mind that I think may be the best guy here for catching them suspended fish out there at Mark Pack.
I knew you were going there. Impact shad right there, buddy. Impact shad. And that's just what he throws.
Before that, he threw the big fluke.
Yeah.
The Magnum fluke, you know. He's made the Magnum, the impact shad,
yeah.
And that's what he's throwing now. But guys, he can count this bait down better than anybody I've ever seen.
He's got the patience to do it.
You have to have. Most guys can't even fish.
It's the slowest, most painstaking fishing you've ever had. You
and
make
I don't
a
do
cast
it a lot because people get bored.
Way bored. So here's just a rundown of what it's like. You find the fish in 45 feet of water. You got a full oak tree.
And we're deep water. We're
45, 50 feet. Okay. You got that full oak tree that comes up 30 feet. It's 30-foot tall oak tree with the tops of the trees at 22. And those fish are suspending in the tops of those trees. So when you make that cast with that weightless fluke, sometimes you put a little weight in it. It's a 30-second count before you do anything.
That's tough to do.
So if you just add the math, you're only going to make 30 just the sink time.
It's a foot per second.
Yeah, and so it's 30 seconds just to get to the top of the tree, and then you go twitch, twitch, and count to about 8 again. I mean, you're probably only going to make about 8 casts an hour.
When you see your fish, say, like Mike said, say we're in 40 foot of water, and we see them in 25, okay? We see them suspended up in 25. Throw that thing out there. We got to wait. They're 15 foot down, okay? They're suspended in 15 feet. We got to think, okay, 15 feet. What we want to do is throw it out there, let it fall. Have the patience to let it fall. Count. Literally count.
Every cast count.
And you want to go to 14. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They're at 15. We don't want to get the bait below them.
Right.
We want the bait on top of them.
Just
they
above
won't look down. They'll look up.
Yep.
Twitch, twitch. And when you do that, that bait comes up. Here's our fish. We've twitched. Now it's come up because we've twitched it. Now we got to count to 3
at least
to get it back down.
Yeah.
Twitch.
Yeah. Which in essence, if you did the math, and I could probably, it's a great way to catch them. But you're probably making 8 to 10 casts an hour. An hour. It is.
And when they bite it, I say, well, how are they going? They just drive off with it.
They swim away with it.
They'll just get up there and drive off.
That's right. You go to twitch it again, and your rod goes down the other way.
These are good ones, guys.
Yeah,
these are good fish.
And I concur wholeheartedly. You know, Mark's been one of the very first guys to ever venture here on Lake Fork 38 years ago. He's a stud. He's forgotten more than I'll at least ever learn about the lake. But when it gets to that July painstaking bite, there's nobody better. But man, listen, guys, I really appreciate you, all the support. I want to ask you something. This guy right here is a super, super, super good man and an awesome guy. I highly recommend him. So I'd like to ask some of you, even my clients, you want a little different flavor for the day, you want to learn some more things from an awesome guy, please book Mr. Eddie Garrett. I highly recommend him. We're both going to be working this week. You can follow both of us. Follow Eddie at.
You can follow me. I mean, I've got Instagram, which is Lake Fork Guide Eddie Garrett. I've got Facebook, Eddie Garrett Facebook. I've got my website is bassfishingwitheddie.com to give you some information on what I charge, what you need to bring, all that. But you can see a lot of my pictures on my Instagram. My phone number, my cell, 972-979-4850. You can always get me on my cell. If I don't answer them on the lake or in a bad area on the lake, leave me a voicemail and I will get back with you before the day's over.
And Eddie,
I've enjoyed you, Mike.
I really appreciate you coming over here and doing this, sir.
I've been really enjoying it.
I'm looking forward to this week. And if you ever need anything, you know that I always got your back.
Same here.
And folks, this up and coming weeks can be really good. Again, appreciate all the followers. Look forward to the daily rundown, McFarland's daily rundown. I may even hit up Eddie once or twice this week and just see how his week was going and let you know how he's doing just as well briefly. But I sure appreciate everything. If you have any questions, you have any comments, if there was something that we didn't cover, please put it in the comments below. One of the two of us will try and get back.
Any questions you guys got?
Even if it's unrelated, you just want to ask us a question, please feel free to do that. And I look forward to this big week ahead of us. And next week, McFarland Corner. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you, Eddie, for being here.
Thank you for
God bless you all. And we wish you all the very, very, very best fishing.
Thanks, guys. See y'all.
Good job, buddy. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, that was pretty good.